The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
What's up, Pistons fans? Welcome to another episode of the Buff Sound Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313. We got the full squad here today. We're going to talk about some of the recent Pistons action. Pistons playing without Cade Cunningham for the last 5 or 6 games or so. We're going to touch on can this team hit 60? And then we're also going to touch on some potential playoff matchups for the Pistons and maybe even rank some of them. So we're all here. Valley a little under the weather, but he's toughing through it for the pod. So leave a like for Valley because, trooper mentality. But Connie, you're first on my screen here. Any other takeaways now that we've seen a fair chunk of basketball of how this team looks without Cade Cunningham?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is the resurgence of Daniss Jenkins as a guy who can play NBA basketball. It was no secret. He's been in a bit of a slump. We talked about is it teams, getting the scouting report on him, but I felt like a lot of the times he was still getting pretty good shots and he was just throwing up some really bad bricks, and now it seems like he's just making shots again. He's had some nice middies. 3-pointer's been falling. But he has also, gotten the ability to knife through the paint a little bit. He has a very nice, awkward step around the hoop that throws a lot of defenders off. I think that's huge for us. One of the big things that, everybody's been on is the Pistons are missing a secondary creator. And that could be a guy. I think he could be really important coming down the stretch. I think it's nice that these guys have gotten this opportunity to do this now. With all hopes that Cade comes back for the playoffs, but do this now and build up a little bit of confidence and shot making repertoire, really as the most important part of the season comes in. Daniss has been really nice. Hoping he can actually do something when it matters.
Yeah, it's going to be something we're all going to have our eye on. Jalen, Duren, Nassar Thompson have also been playing very well the last few games. Gabe, your thoughts on the recent stretch of Pistons basketball? Anything that stands out to you?
We beat a really good team. Beat the Lakers. That was a great game. And maybe it is just a backcourt of Luka and Austin Reeves that allowed Dennis to go so crazy because he was blown by those guys.
Wait, Taylor.
The commentators were in love with him. His mid-range full game, his ability to stay calm under pressure. And that's what he always talks about. So I don't think that part is ever truly leaving him. It is just it kind of popped up again in the Timberwolves there where he just missed some easy shots. He looked a little bit Rudy Gobert that game demolished JD, and he also demolished Jenkins as well. But I mean, the team itself, I mentioned this last pod, where it's kind of like a Jokic going down thing, where everyone else needs to step up and kind of explore their offensive capabilities a little bit, and that might help down the road in the playoffs, as Connie mentioned. Tobias Harris has also been awesome. Hit some huge shots in all 3 of those games, and his assist numbers are up. JD almost triple-double, 3 assists away, so he's been great as well. Really,
JD has surprised me. I thought there was going to be some follow-up
with no Cade. Yeah,
that's fair. I mean, he's proven that
so much of what he gets is just fed from. Okay, I'm back.
You're back?
Yeah.
Right, there you go. Keep
going.
Right.
Yeah, so much what he gets is from Cade Cunningham, and he really showed some stuff. Now, a lot of some of the teams we've played here aren't the strongest of competitors. I'm looking at the Washington Wizards, but just really doing some nice stuff. He's awesome against the Pelicans, getting that sort of mid post region where he can just turn the corner and get to the hoop. There was a couple times. Was it against? No, just over these past couple games where I feel like something that we haven't been seeing as much that we started to see is like someone setting a screen for Jalen Duren. It's almost like a little touch screen for Jalen Duren when he's in the mid post that he just kind of curls around, and teams are kind of at this point unsure how to guard it. And he's gotten a couple nice layups off of it. That definitely happened in the Minnesota game. A couple times. His offensive repertoire seems to be shining through. It seems like with the 65 game rule, Jalen Duren is probably going to be an All NBA player.
Yeah.
It's just
That's
really
gonna hurt
surprising.
someone's pocket.
We can talk later about if that's a good or bad thing for the Detroit Pistons, but
His
yeah.
passing out of the short roll as well has been exceptional into the corners. I do think he just overpasses a little bit. Sometimes I wish he'd just go up like over the guy, but he finds like a mediocre 3-point shooter like Javonte Green in the corner. I prefer him to try to hit that layup in traffic. But yeah, he's been awesome. Also, Kevin Huerter has also been awesome.
Shout out Kevin Huerter. Stepped in the starting lineup, dropped what was it, 22 points? Uh,
Hmm
4 for 7 from deep. Uh, is this the resurgence of Kevin Huerter, or is this just him hitting his shots and it seems like we're paying more attention?
The resurgence of Huerter for sure. I think the confidence levels are the key indicator for that. But we've talked about how much he does like outside of theoretical 3-point shooting, but now that the shot is not theoretical, like he's hitting his threes, it's been amazing. I've even seen a few people, I don't agree with this, claim that Kevin Huerter might be more usable in the playoffs than Duncan Robinson and therefore should be a starter, which is just I disagree with it. But the fact that like Kevin's impact has been that much has been great. I don't know what to say because I feel like we say the same things with Kevin. It's like it's such a pleasant surprise everything he brings to a basketball court. Especially against Minnesota, I thought like his ability to cut. He had two finishes in the third quarter on Rudy Gobert that were incredible finishes. They were really, really difficult finishes on Gobert. Again, just showing the versatility of his game. But I think over this stretch for me, 5-1 without Cade, only loss being that really, really agonizing one to Atlanta, which easily could have been a win, is like a renowned belief that our defense is legit and it's gonna kind of get us there in the playoffs. I think for a period of time, a couple of weeks, we had a bit of a lull in
Mhm.
kind of our entire identity, I would say, and I think we are 110% back to that identity in terms of grinding on defense, holding teams under 90 points in 2026 is incredibly impressive for any NBA team to do. So I have renowned confidence that we can actually really make some noise this postseason. Getting that confidence through seeing the team shine without Cade and just seeing how legit our defense is. And last tangent I'm gonna go on is I feel like there were a lot of moments throughout this win streak. I'm thinking Lakers in particular, JD switching out onto Luca and securing the win. The energy we had the timeout before, emphasizing the stop. And I think it was after the Laker game that JB Bickerstaff said, "Yeah, like against any team in the world, like we know we can get a stop against anybody." And I think that was just really, really energizing to hear. I have a few other catalysts for it, but I don't want to keep rambling. Asar Thompson has been on another level
He's
defensively. If there wasn't a 7'6" alien, he's the best defensive player in the NBA. He's just unreal. I think he's been, without a doubt, him kind of being off the leash in terms of minutes has been a key contributor to why our defense is thriving so much right now.
Oh yeah, he's just a difference maker. He's deflections, steals, just getting his nose and everything. And I think they said it on the broadcast too. He gets at least one steal a game where he picks his man up full court, pokes it away, and just has himself an easy bunny on the other end. Gabe, Connie, do you guys have anything else to add on what you've seen at a recent game to Sar Thompson, Tobias, JD, anything at all?
Yeah, I want to give a little more love to Huerter. Um, Like we saw even when the shot and fall, he's a really headsy basketball player. Like Valley said, cuts, like
Mm-hmm.
passing. He's very good within the flow. And I feel like that's a lot of what the Pistons like an underrated part of the Pistons offense is how much the role players just keep the ball moving. It's not like one guy doing something, even when Daniss like wasn't on, it's not like one guy doing something, but the ball just kind of flies around. Guys don't like hold on to it, or I mean, other than one guy, guys don't hold on to it and do their own thing. It is kind of like all like integrating in with each other. And I think now we're seeing that more with Herter, like as he gets more time to play with these guys, as he picks up the rhythms of the Pistons offense. Like I mean, we say his 3-point shots fall. Like it's not crazy. He's had a couple nice games, but like it's his all the other stuff is really starting to fit in, and fit in really nicely. I mean, in the alternate universe where he does like go back to being a 40% 3-point shooter, I could see the world where he's more important than Duncan Robinson, but I mean, it's just not the world that we live in. So I'm still giving Dunk the edge over him by a good margin.
Yeah, at this time, I'd still give it to Duncan. One thing I wanted to point out, I think I've noticed it. I don't know if it's just me or if you guys see it too. The JD balanced lead pass. I feel like that's a pass that he has in his bag, but he doesn't execute it every time. Do you guys think that that's slightly improving as we're getting down to the end of the season?
Talking about like hitting the cutter
Yeah,
or
yeah,
out
like
from
he
like
did
the
the
high
wrong.
post.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think he's just getting more consistent with those. Like that stuff we've seen almost since his rookie year, but like
Mm-hmm.
half the time you throw it away. I think all this stuff is just getting more consistent. There's less variability. There's less bad to it, and he's just really polishing it out. So it's like he's got his things that he does, and they're all like super. They're getting cleaner and cleaner. Um, that like I think all his passing bag. I think all his whole bag is just getting better and better and
Mm-hmm.
better, and the skill cap just seems to be raising every time.
Yeah, and I feel like his game is becoming like I think you said it. It's just becoming very smooth. Gabe, any other things to note on from these last few games?
Yeah, I thought Levert actually played exceptional defense, especially against the Wolves.
Make sure you hit those
I
shots.
mean, you're laughing, but like, I see the vision of him and Herter together. I see it. He still just makes stupid mistakes, but like, he gets some tough. Like when everything else stalls, he like finds a way to get like a 12-foot J that just like goes super high, hits every part of the rim, but then still goes in. So like, I see the vision.
I do
Especially
too.
if he can like lock up Nas Reed type players, like he's had some nice blocks, some nice deflections. He's a quick defender. He's good. He just he's a 6'5" guy, so he's a little undersized at times. But I thought he's played well. He still does his usual offensive kind of weird things. But I think especially I don't need to see him every night in the playoffs, but nights where I don't know, like Boston just like locks up that ball movement player when you just need a guy to score like 6 points that are really hard to get. He's still that guy on the roster. Also, Kevin Herter's pass where he like waited, stalled for like 3 seconds with the ball like behind his hand, and then found JD for an alley oop was really nice. Just like a Cade type slow play. So yeah, he's good as well.
I feel
He also
like
had a really nice bounce pass through that it didn't get caught, but he like tricked the whole defense with like a no look bounce pass to like down by the legs. That was
Yeah,
really
Teron.
nice.
yeah, that's right.
Have you noticed like I thought Minnesota in particular was the most perhaps the ball has like collectively moved around, not only without Cade, even with. I feel like the ball movement has been so key to us, and especially in moments where there's like 7, 9 seconds on the shot clock, and more often than not, we would, the possession would be over in terms of the ball moving around. But I feel like we've been doing such a good job of like getting back into our motion, which is just, Minnesota is getting it to Paul Reed or JD, top of the key, and just kind of working off dribble handoffs there. I feel like we've been doing that a lot more with the shot clock down, and as a result, getting some half decent looks to beat the buzzer. And off the top of my head, we hit multiple buzzer beaters against Minnesota too, or like shot clock buzzer beaters. Um, Noticed a general uptick in ball movement, or is that just my end?
No,
Funny.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think it's a thing JB hammers home. Like we don't have our guy. We are a team. Like let's play to everyone's strengths. Especially that, like you mentioned, big at the top, and then there's like one side curls through, then the other side curls through and rescreens for
Mm-hmm.
the guy up top, and it just it's nice. It's pretty. Like you said, it just keeps moving. It's good offense when you don't have a guy who's like a primary guy. That I think that type of offense can be taken away by a team that rotates well and is a good defensive team, like Rudy Gobert kind of did in that first and second quarter, but I think it just wears teams down in the regular season.
Do you guys feel like Karras took the matchup against Akil Alexander Walker a little more personally? I don't know why. I felt like he was actually like trying to shoot that game. Like anytime Nikhil would score, he would come back and try to pull up a three. It didn't go Karras' way at all, but I just felt like he took that a little more personally.
Sure.
His block on is it Caden Clark, where he just met him at the Apex against Minnesota? I don't know if that's who you're referring to, Gabe. When he had,
Clark, whatever the guy's name is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was I think he just had a really good finish over JD the possession before, and then Karis LeVert met him at the Apex. That was one of the more surprising moments of that game.
Very true. Anything else to note on the last few games before we move into a little bit more of a futuristic look? All right, so the Pistons are currently at 54 wins. There are, I believe, 10 games left. Do the Pistons hit 60?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I believe we play a lot of the teams that we could play in the playoff. We play a lot of those teams coming up. You got games against Toronto.
Yeah, can we just do a flash? I'm gonna name off. I'm just gonna go through the Pistons schedule, and you guys give me no thought to it, just win or loss.
Okay.
All right. So we have tonight at Oklahoma City.
Loss.
Did you see the
Loss.
doubtful on the injury report?
No.
We can get into that in a bit then.
Yeah, everyone out.
And we have home against the Raptors.
I'm going,
That's a
so I
win.
gotta say win.
Win. Home against the Timberwolves.
Win.
I'm gonna say loss to that one because I think Ant's gonna be back.
I think, you know what? I thought about it as soon as I said it, but I can't go back on it.
2-1. And then at Philadelphia.
Depends on who's
That's
playing.
scary.
Yeah.
I'll say win.
Let's assume they're fully healthy.
Loss.
I'd say
say
it's
win.
less than win.
All right. At the Magic.
Easy win.
Those
Easy
dudes
win. At the
they lose team by
home,
52.
Home for the
The
Bucks.
Raptors.
Win.
And then home for the at the Hornets.
Win.
That might
We
be
might
tough
lose that
because they're
game.
fighting.
And then at the Pacers, which I consider a win. So 1, 2, 3. So 4 possible losses in these last 8. If we go 4-4, we don't get it right.
No, we need to get 6.
Got to go 6-2. All right, so like it
we
is
have
up
8
in the
games
air.
Only 8? I thought it was more. Jesus.
But I do think once we lock up the first seed, if we lock up the first seed, like that Pacers game could be a Tolu Smith extravaganza, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but
I don't think as a team we're aiming for 60. I think we're aiming for the number 1 seed.
Which
yeah,
I think the
agree.
magic number is 5.
5. I can see 5 or 4 games up on Boston, right? Like, it's getting really short for Boston right now. We have the tiebreaker over them. I think the Pistons are pretty safe in that 1 seed. So, like, yeah, I could see some losses happening. I think it's going to be hard to lose to that Pacers team, even if it is a Tolu Smith extravaganza, because they're going to be doing some nonsense on their own side, trying to lock up their own 1 seed in the tankathon race.
The real question is what bench warmer is going to have most points, like
Cavalier.
until the end of the season.
They're going to have their Joel Anthony 8-block game.
The Joel Anthony game, yeah.
I think it's going to be Bobby Clinton. I think Bobby Clinton against the Pacers is going to have like 24 points. I'm going to hold that right there.
I got to clip that so that when it happens, we're pulling it back. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting conclusion to the season. I just want to take a second and be like, when we started this podcast, I think like the first 2 seasons we won 17 games and 14 games. And now here we are talking about how this team could secure a 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Just that's a crazy
Yeah, it is. It's so crazy.
Like you go 2 seasons where you win 31 games, and now we're almost doubling that with a near 60 win season. Like incredible.
Okay, yeah. So really, all we have to do is go 4-4. If we go 4-4, if the Celtics go 8-0 over their last 8, we have the tiebreaker and we have the same record. So 4-4 is the number to get to guarantee a first seed in the Eastern Conference.
The Detroit Pistons as a 1 seed is a crazy thing to think, considering where we have been. You want to rank potential playoff opponents now?
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So, between the sort of bottom of the playoffs, and the play-in, they're all pretty close to each other. Like the Raptors at 5 are 12 games behind first, and the Hornets at 10 are 15 and a half. So only a 3.5 game spread there. What's up, Gabe?
You want to just run through them based on your
Yeah.
personal rankings of like
Oh,
least to
my.
most, and we kind of go one by one.
Oh, okay. All right. So the team I would least want to see in this first round is the Philadelphia 76ers, who are kind of putting everything back together again. Paul George is back from a 25-game suspension. Joel Embiid is back on and just instantly scored 30 points, doing nothing but mid-rangers. Tyrese Maxey is an incredible guard that can fill it up like nobody else. VJ Edgecombe, solid athletic guy. I think they just have a squad that's much better than their record is right now because they have had so much like injury hardship and stuff. And in the first round, where you still have those like breaks between games, it's not every other. I don't think it's as detrimental for Joel Embiid, who I just don't think will survive deep into the playoffs. But Sixers are my number one.
That's fair.
I have to agree because I think they're the only one where we could say we don't have the best player on the court. Like Joel Embiid, when healthy, is like unstoppable, and I do worry, especially JD against a guy who's taller than him, quicker than him, better defender than
I don't
him.
know about quicker anymore,
I don't know
man.
about quicker, more
Yeah, okay,
skilled.
I should say like more offensively smooth.
Yeah.
A guy who's smarter,
Can shoot
like,
jumpers.
who's an MVP, right? This guy's an MVP, and so like I do worry about that, but I do still think we win that. But I am in agreement with you that that's a vet team with playoff experience.
And we're assuming all of these playoff matchups are first round, no Cade Cunningham, correct?
Oh, no, I'm assuming Cade's coming back.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
I think if Cade's not coming back, all of these teams will beat us in a playoff series. So, like,
I
this is
don't
how
think
I'm
so.
ranking
I
like that.
disagree.
Yeah,
Really?
I would think
Okay.
only the
Maybe not
Sixers beat
Orlando.
us.
I
Without
think
Cade?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, guys. But
the only
okay.
two that I could see us maybe beating. Actually, no. I was gonna say Miami, but I'm scared of Miami.
All right. So again, assuming Cade's fully healthy, my next, I guess, in the people I don't want to see is the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah.
I mean, they just play a really cool style. They have insane offense. Fallen off a little bit here, but did lead the NBA in net rating for like a month, which is, saying something. That, and I mean, there's just bad blood here.
I think
had
it's
one,
scripted to
we
be
had
this way.
one game into a huge brawl. I mean, you see these guys, 4 games in a row, up to 7 games in a row. It's not like those feelings are going to become lesser. I mean, like, I'm just worried about somebody getting knocked out for a couple of games because they, hit a Charlotte player or something. I'm not
Yeah.
too like Con still. They still have a lot of really young guys, untested guys. So I'm not like worried about losing this series, but I just think it would, I think, be hard.
Yeah. I agree with your 1 and 2.
All right, now I think it gets a little dicier.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point where I don't fear any of these teams anymore. But
Not even the way Toronto played us last time?
my next up is actually
Miami.
Atlanta.
Okay, that's fair too.
I think they just have a nice squad going.
I like their squad.
A lot of athletic dudes. Again, this is not a team that I'm worried about. I think Jalen Duren kind of mashes Onyeka Okongwu. Not something I'm super concerned about, but they have like weird guys that throw at Cade. If Dyson gets in like a full court press sort of game, they are going to need the next guy up. They got a lot of athletic guys. I mean, Jalen Johnson, I think, he's just pretty dang good at this point.
Yeah.
Nothing to say about him.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker, MIP consideration this season. I mean, if they want to hit 6 of 8 threes again to start every game, that's going to be a problem.
I mean, even Kuminga can be a guy that comes in and shifts the court. or something. It just is an athletic. They just have like a lot of athleticism on that team, and
They
something
do.
I'm concerned about a little bit. Uh, you
The thing
guys,
is the Hornets though. I think they're just too little. Like Cade, JD. I think just over the course of a series, just kind of mash them.
and like I think it like end of game stuff. Their guy is CJ McCollum, which he did it to us that one
Oh
game. But
yeah,
I'm taking
I
like
forgot
if
CJ.
it's
I knew
end
it was
of
the
game
injury.
and it's CJ McCollum versus Cade Cunningham, I'm taking Cade Cunningham. Um, next up, I'm going with the Miami Heat.
Yeah,
Just like they are the Miami Heat. This is purely off of respect for the
he
organization, for
culture,
Eric
man.
Spoelstra, and for just being a tough ass team to beat. A very smart team. I don't think they've been particularly good. I think Bam kind of stinks. I mean, outside of like, if he didn't have that 83-point game, I think the discussion around Bam Adebayo would be very different. Because he's an incredibly inefficient offensive player that drives their whole offense. I think they got a lot of weak points that you can attack, but they still do have potential. Some weird guy's gonna do something stupid. Some guy that I don't know his name because I don't play 2K anymore is gonna be a
Myron
good player in
Gardner,
the. There you go.
Tyler
And then
Hero, 10 threes.
Tyler Hero, Norman Powell still around. Yeah, just frisky based because their name. If you put that same roster, that same team, and you called them, I don't know, the Atlanta Hawks, I wouldn't be as scared of them. But because their name is the Miami Heat, there's a little
I think
more.
that's just Eric Spoelstra also being a genius, yeah, in a playoff
Yeah.
Yeah,
series.
And now we're nearing the bottom. Second to last, I have the Raptors.
yeah.
I know they're like maybe the best team out of this bunch, but I'm not scared of the Raptors. I think the Pistons can just systematically beat them. I think they don't have an incredibly difficult offensive group to stop. Scotty's good. He's a crazy athlete. He's going to cause harm. Um, an insane defender, but I mean, you know what Brandon Ingram's doing. He's going to middies. I think RJ Barrett kind of stinks. Emmanuel kind of stinks. Like I'm truly not worried at all about the Raptors, and they would be at the bottom of this list if it wasn't for the Orlando Magic, who are going to fire their coach in a month when they get knocked out of the first round. Just a completely uninventive, unexciting uh, offensive team. Don't back it up anymore. Where they used to be quite the defensive squad like us. Like they used to be the no offense all defense squad, but now they don't even play defense very hard anymore. Uh, Franz is still injured. Their team is oft injured, and Paulo Banchero is case study in number one picks not ruining, but like being good enough to get the max contract extension, but not good enough to deserve the max contract extension really messes up your team building.
I would
Yeah,
agree with that list.
completely agree. It doesn't help that
Yes,
they gave up a 31-0 run last night.
that to the Raptors. Yeah, did not fill me with a whole lot of worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
So my list ended up being uh, 76ers, Hornets, Hawks, Heat, Raptors, Magic. I mean, I think it's reasonable. Like we could really see any of these teams. There's not a lot separating, and I mean, in one game, anybody could win it. Yeah,
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 I think the only change I'd make is push the Heat up one, just because they're a playoff team. Like
yeah.
that's what they do,
they are the Heat.
and they
Yeah.
have size. Yeah.
Any other notes before we get out of here?
Real quick, wanted to touch on March Madness. I don't know if you guys, I know, I mean, you haven't watched too much, but our schools here, U of M and Illinois, both in the
Oh,
Final
yeah.
Four.
I watched my
Ooh.
first two March Madness games yesterday with watching Duke lose and Michigan destroy Tennessee. I'm seeing a lot of insane takes about Yaxel Landenberg. I saw one by the Honolulu Blues or something, usually a Lions team. And he's like, "Yeah, we should trade Asar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart to get the pick to pick Yaxel Landenberg."
Mm.
Yeah, right, buddy.
Those people
Mm-mm.
don't know ball.
Yeah, they do not know ball, but I do agree. Like, I'm hoping he's one of that like him being 23 years old really colors it wrong in some GM's eyes, and he does fall to 21 or whatever we're gonna have with the Minnesota pick. But no, I can't really speak on anything else
Oh,
other than
so
Tennessee had some guy that was completely unimpressive that's on the draft lists.
Oh
Made a
yeah, I
ment.
saw as well. Yeah. Speaking of unimpressive guys, Cam Boozer. This guy's
Not a
just
Kim
Greg
Booth.
Monroe. He's a buff Greg Monroe. That's literally all he is.
whoa.
He came in the league like 20 years too late, so we'll see.
Oh man, Valley, you want to jump in on anything here? You haven't had a chance to speak much this pod.
No, I think of a different list in terms of who I prefer to see in the playoffs.
You want to run
Uh,
through it real quick? Do we have time?
Here,
we can go
What
through it.
was your big difference?
I think Charlotte's been coming back down to earth a little bit recently. Had a good conversation with the Charlotte fan yesterday, actually. And also I think I prefer to see Atlanta in round one. I think they're just so bad at defense that I think we would that's almost our preferred matchup for me, with or without Cade. I think we would easily handle either of those teams. But no,
Ooh, easily
I
without
haven't watched
Cade.
I haven't watched the March Madness game yet, and I really need to, man.
You gotta watch some Illinois, man.
But yeah, I got a couple games to watch next weekend on it.
I think you might like their squad. It's like almost entirely Eastern European
Yeah.
guys.
I watched the team
They
regular or whatever the
they got
regular season there.
they got Page's son on there.
that one wing they have, like wing guard they have. What's his name? He's like the classic broccoli hair. He's also like a top 10 guy, and he actually looks really good. He looks really smooth.
Who? Keaton Wagler?
Yeah, I think
He's
it's Wagler.
I think he's a point guard. He dropped like a
He's
ridiculous amount of points in a
he had
game.
45 one game. Yeah, he's 6'6", hasn't dunked this season. But
That
yeah.
of the year.
Yeah. You want to look ahead real quick, Amit?
Yeah,
No,
we got
week ahead.
OKC, Toronto, and Minnesota, and there's somebody else that I'm forgetting. But just given those three, who you got? I'm pulling up the schedule real quick.
AC, Toronto,
I'm
Minnesota.
gonna say 1 and 2 this week.
Worth noting, perhaps before you hear, Asar Thompson is questionable. JD, Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris are doubtful. Isaiah
Wow.
I got some updates. I'm on the ESPN website right now.
What you got?
Sar Thompson is not on the injury report,
Ooh,
but Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren are all out.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean,
out.
obviously, along with Cade and Isaiah.
so you're
So
missing.
that's actually, I mean, that's a reasonable starting lineup right there. That is out of this game. So I'm gonna go 1 and 2 as well.
We also play Philly on the 4th, so if you want to throw Philly in that mix too.
Dude, I don't want to get super negative, but I might say 1 and 3.
I might say 1 and 3.
I think these are tough. I mean, especially with these dudes out. I mean, we're already missing our best player. You keep throwing stuff on top of that. It
Could
just
you
gets
imagine if we somehow pulled this one off tonight?
this. That would be an absolutely classic Paul Reed experience. If with absolutely everyone out, Paul Reed goes out here tonight and has like 25, 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, or something like that.
Jenkins with another 30 burger.
I'm extremely excited for the Pistons Thunder tonight. I have a weird amount of I'm not expecting a win. I have a weird amount of confidence going into the game. I think we tend to play much better when shorthanded, much more aggressive, complete 48 minutes when shorthanded. And I don't think we have anything to lose against
Oh no.
the MVP, the reigning champs, the team that's expected to win again, that I believe is pretty much fully healthy, as compared to us. And I'm just super excited to see we're just gonna if we achieve anything, it's gonna be from work ethic. It's gonna be from out dogging them. And so I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the matchup. I'm assuming it's gonna be Dort on Jenkins. I think that'll be fun to see if Jenkins is
Oh God.
just put in the chamber or if he can still come out and do some stuff.
I'm gonna put a life insurance policy out on Daniss Jenkins.
Yeah, Lou Dort's insane. I did watch a minute or two, or like maybe 10 minutes of the Thunder Knicks last night.
You see him. You see the play with
The
Josh
elite
Hart.
team.
Well, he took out Deuce McBride, but also just Josh Hart, just freaking just tackled him through a
Yeah,
Josh Hart screen and got an offensive foul.
Oh
It's
yeah, I saw
hilarious.
that. That was hard. That was such a dumb call, man. And
Yeah,
then Reggie Miller was like,
insane.
"The ref right there didn't even call it." And then he sees it again, and he's like, "I'm be mad if I was Josh Hart too."
that's the exact play I was talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
if that
Yeah.
happens to Daniss one time, he's missing the playoffs.
Oh God, maybe Daniss should sit tonight. Any other notes before we get out of here? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Buff Sound Podcast. Pistons approaching 60 wins on the season, and we've come a long way. So throw the Buffs on Detroit because the future is bright.